welcome to the Flame and Fiber podcast. My name is Barbara. You can find me on Instagram and Ravelry as DeevaaS. Oh my gosh, it's only been a month since I did my last podcast. Is that crazy? I'm trying to do one at the beginning of every month and see how that goes. I'm getting my mojo back, so I actually have knitting to show you. And anyway, and I have prize winners, but I forgot my book. I knew I forgot something. I'll be right back. Turned out I did not forget my book. It was right here. But I did forget my lipsticks, and while I was downstairs, I thought, oh, I need to be fancy. Anyway, hi everybody. Can you believe it? 100th podcast. Cheers to us. 100 podcasts. But it took long enough, right? I'll be honest, I can't even remember. Is it 3.5 years or 4.5 years? Because I started in September. And for the first 6 months, I was doing it every week. But I really petered out since Corona. I know. So anyway, here I am. Cheers. 100th podcast. So I decided to do a 100th podcast giveaway. And I am going to get Christy to show me how to do a pick from the comments in the thread, the YouTube thread. So comment down here if you're interested in joining this giveaway, and I will show you what I've decided to give away. You may not be interested because it is lace weight, but it is so pretty. It is Juniper Farms, and it's a little beat up. It's been in my stash for quite a while. Juniper Farms, Findley Dappled. It's 50% merino wool, 50% silk. Isn't that pretty? This is one of, when I was a new knitter, I bought things crazy, and I was at my local yarn shop, and they had a very lacy kind of jacket sweater made out of this. I bought it, and I bought the pattern. I have no idea where the pattern is. The color is called Bayou, B-A-Y-E-U-X, color number 115. And each skein is 800 yards. So I know lace weight, a lot of people not so crazy about lace weight, but these days we're holding things together a lot. And having a lace weight, you could hold them together. They're 2 skeins, so you could make it double, and then it would be close to a fingering, I think. And anyway, I hope you like it. I hope you want it, because this is the giveaway for 100 episodes. And I'm going to do this whole picking thing from the comments, which I've never done before. And so you need to put the word Crazypants. And I'm putting it down here or up here. I'm putting it up here. Crazypants. Because I wanted to pick a word nobody would, normally use. So Crazypants is not usually in my comments. And if you want if you're interested in being in the drawing, put Crazypants in your comment. Or Crazypants. 100 podcasts. Thank you for those of you who are OGs. Thank you for hanging with me for a very, very, very long time. Yeah. Well, not as long as some people. Let's be real. But, In the time of Corona, I've had a little trouble getting the gumption up to podcast for a couple of reasons. One is because I'm still vlogging every morning. So any built up need to tell you things doesn't really build up, because I tell you everything every morning. I got to have something to talk about. I'm not saving anything for you guys in the podcast, because otherwise what am I going to do every morning? So my urge to talk is satisfied by the vlog. And I did have very serious loss of mojo for quite a while. But my mojo is coming back. It's so exciting. Okay, so now I have my book. I have 2 finished objects. keeping in mind that I finished a Musselburgh hat between the time I wrote my notes for my last podcast and the time I podcasted. I finished it. So I had an extra finished object last time, and it got like finished. I keep forgetting how far back. My notebook is getting, this is all I have left. I'm going to have to find another notebook. It's been eaten by my dogs. But how could I resist? Okay. So, Crazypants. 100 episodes. I hope you like that yarn. I know lace is a little, but it's so pretty. I hope you like it. Anyway, so I have 2 finished objects. I have a pair of socks. Now, these socks were cranked by my friend Simona. She has the Recycled Yarn Company on Etsy, and I will put a link to her shop down there. And I don't know if she lists cranking socks or not as something in her Etsy shop, but if you contact her, I bet she'd crank them for you. These are 60 stitches, but she has 60 and 64. So she cranked this for me, and then I went in and I put cuff, heel, and toe, and the cuff, heel, and toe are all from Paton's Kroy in the Gentry Gray colorway. I guess it really is gray. Paton's Kroy socks, which feel like they're going to be really wear well. And I forget what the yarn is. I think it was Regia, is my guess. But these are nice, and so I have new socks. So there you go. Another pair of new socks, and I need them because I had another pair of old socks break through the heel. So I am going to have to learn how to darn. That's on my list of things to do. So that's my first finished object, and all I did was the heel, toes, and cuffs. But still, they're socks. I'll be wearing them. Oh, speaking of wearing socks, I'm wearing red today because I just took a shower and I put on my gorgeous red socks that my friend Pat made me for Christmas last year or the year before, Pat. I'm not sure. I think it might have been 2 years ago. A year and a half. Well, not this past Christmas, maybe the Christmas before. Anyway, they're so squishy and wonderful, so I put those on. And then I'm like, well, if I'm wearing red, I need to put on my red sweater, which is the Not Too Much by Hintern Stern with the turtleneck option. I actually wear this sweater quite a bit. The yarn is from the Catt Lady. She's got a podcast, and she dyes yarn. And this is in the Cranberry colorway, and I love, 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 love the yarn. It's a DK. And I love this sweater, so I wear it a lot. So, since we were talking about socks, I talk about my socks. I'm also wearing a gift from Sarah. Aren't these the cutest things? These are little coffee cups, and they've got little tiny steam coming out of them. I think they're adorable. Thank you, friends, for the lovely gifts. I really appreciate it. And I'm cozy warm. It's chilly outside, and we keep our house at 66. So being cozy warm is nice. And I'm sure we're not going to have a fire tonight because one of our problems is we've been having our house too dry, and the fireplace makes our house drier. In part because it turns off the furnace, which has a humidifier. So we're ordering Dennis has ordered a humidifier, so hopefully our house won't be so dry. My second finished object is Dennis's Musselburgh hat. Now, this is not in pristine condition because he has been wearing it every day since I finished it, and I finished it like 3 weeks ago at least. So this has 2 different yarns, and now I gotta find mine. Here it is. Find my bag that's got stuff in it. I happen to have the tags. Believe it or not, I have the tags. I had the tags and I wrote them. Oh, there it is. Okay. So the Musselburgh hat is reversible, so it has kind of two sides. So the gray side is from Audine wools, which I got from Knitcrate. And this is 80% wool, 10% silk, 10% mohair, DK weight, and I think pillow is the color, but I'm not sure. I don't see anything else that would be the color. But these yarns are made specifically for Knitcrate. And I picked that yarn because it was a nice, sturdy yarn. Because the first yarn I picked, Dennis has very sensitive skin, so I wanted something really, really soft next to his head. And so this yarn is Artisan Yarns, Hampton Hills Alpaca. Artisan Yarns, Hampton Hills Alpaca. And it is 70% baby alpaca, 30% silk. And it's in the color Slate. Now, alpaca, neither alpaca nor silk are great yarns for a hat because they're so drapey. So I paired, this is the inside. I paired it with the sturdier wool, 80% wool from Knitcrate, and then this is how he wears it. So the gray is on the outside, keeping the structure of the hat, while the inside is soft and cushy alpaca and silk. And the way he wears it, of course, is with the brim up, so he gets a little bit of the great color of that alpaca silk. And voila. He has a warm hat, which he really likes and has worn it a lot since I made it for him. He has a couple other hats that I made him, and you know, if this is for when it's really cold. We've had some days that haven't been that cold, and so he wore a different hat that I made him, but he does wear my hats I made him, and I do appreciate that. So this is the Musselburgh hat, and it is by Ysolda Teague. And this was the second Musselburgh hat that I made. Is there anyone out there who has only made one Musselburgh hat and it's been more than 2 weeks since you finished it? Because everybody I've talked to who's made a Musselburgh hat has made more than one. And I'm like, you know, I loved it, knitting it. I enjoyed it a lot. And Dennis loves it. And it is a beautiful warm hat. Now this is DK weight. And mine that I made for myself, that was the finished object. Last podcast, I also made from DK. So anyway, finished object number 2. I told Dennis, he wore it today and then he handed it to me. I said, I'm going to need your hat. I never blocked it or anything. He just wears it and loves it. And it's so nice. So there you go. Finished object number 2. And there are only 2. I make it sound like I'm going to have this big long parade. I'm not. But I have been doing a lot of knitting. I just haven't finished a lot of things. So my whip parade is actually much, much longer. Big surprise. So early, I don't even know if I showed you these last podcast. I don't think so. These are the Mercury socks. I have made Mercury socks before. Mercury socks is a pattern, let me see, by Kim McKenzie. My patterns this time are terrible. I was having trouble with my printer. By Kim McKenzie, it's a free pattern. I love this pattern. It's really fun to knit, and I love, you know, it's got a little something something going on, but it's easy to remember. And I have several pairs of Mercury socks. So I decided to make Mercury socks out of the beautiful yarn that Bente of Arctic Craft Knits dyed. It's like her Valentine pair. Platinum socks, Valentine's 2021 love story. It's a 75/25 merino nylon. Arctic Crafts. Bente in Norway. And the beautiful Valorie gifted me this yarn and this cute bag for Valentine's Day last year. And so I thought it's time for me to knit those, because I wasn't knitting socks at the time. You know, I was hardly knitting anything, but I wasn't knitting socks. But I have gotten the bug to knit socks, partly because, you know, you start doing something you've enjoyed doing before and you get it back. And partly because I keep busting through the heels of my socks and I need new socks. So here are my Mercury socks, and I'm going to do an afterthought heel. So I've started doing just plain stockinette. So this is the back of the foot and going to be the bottom of the foot. So I'm only doing the Mercury stitch on one side now. And then soon I will decide where the heel's going to go, and it will be the red. And then I will cut in the heel and do the heel, and then measure as I go along and figure out where I want my toe. So here are my Mercury socks with this gorgeous, gorgeous yarn that Benta dyed and that Valorie gave me. And aren't they beautiful? That's the bottom and the back. But I really recommend the Mercury pattern if you haven't tried it and are looking for a little something, something going on with your socks. Kim McKenzie. Free pattern. Really fun. I have enjoyed every one pair that I made, but I stopped working on my Mercury socks because I started a test knit socks for Carol. And so I put these aside to knit on those socks, which I also haven't finished. I guess I might as well talk about that. It's not next on my list. But I'm the boss of my podcast. I don't have to do it in the order of my notes. So I am doing a test knit for Carol, and I think the test knit is done, and I'm not finished, but she's very nice and isn't upset with me. Carol Roy, and she is Naughty Knitter 61, something like that. I'll put it down here where you can find it. And it's not out yet, but it will be out, I think, in the next week or two. And it's called 5 Winds Jack. And Jack is a horse. 5 Winds is a farm, a ranch in Alberta that is run by Carol's daughter. And she rescues and houses abandoned and whatever, you know, horses. So it's a horse farm for rescued horses, essentially. And so this is a fundraiser. This is the second pattern that Carol has designed for 5 Winds. 5 Winds is the name of the horse ranch. And this is the second pattern, Jack. And I'm very enamored of Jack because my father's name is Jack. And I will tell you, I really enjoyed knitting these. And the thing about this one that's different than anything I've done in a really long time, like almost forever, is it's got a slip stitch heel. Isn't that pretty? And I did that 2 at a time on my one needle and figured it out. And I'm really proud of myself. And it worked out great. I didn't love doing it, to be frank. I love the look of the heel. And if you do a heel flap and gusset, then, you know, you're fine. But I don't do, I do them 2 at a time, and I don't use double pointed needles. And so it was a little trickier for me, but I thought the value that I can add to this test knit, because she had a lot of very good knitters testing this for her, was that I could test knit the heel part of the pattern, because I did a heel flap and gusset heel 5 years ago, once. So I did it straight from her pattern. I didn't do it because, I mean, I didn't know what the heck I was doing. I even had to send her some questions. So I did that based on her pattern with no knowledge, really. And it worked great. So kudos to Carol. The pattern on the front is really, really fun. And I highly recommend this pattern when it comes out, and it's for a good cause. It's for the cause is the 5 Winds horse rescue that her daughter runs. And so anyway, I had a lot of fun knitting this. I'm obviously going to finish them, but I think the test knit period is over, so I didn't finish them, but I got through the part that I thought I, would be able to add value to the test knitting crew. And so there you go. So now the yarn is another story. This yarn is from Dye Mad Yarns, and this is in the Chester sock base, which is 75/25, and it is in the colorway called Picket Twine. Now these are the good cause socks all the way around, because the Picket Twine yarn, she is giving proceeds from this yarn color to, and I got it wrong when I talked about it on the vlog, it's the steel workers in Huntington, West Virginia are on strike, and the funds are going to the strike fund for the steel workers in West Virginia. And I like the cause, and I love, love, love the color. So I was very happy to buy some of this yarn. In fact, I bought so much of this yarn that almost everything I've knit this month has been with this yarn, because I bought the Chester sock for these socks, and I bought an extra one. So the January prize for the Ode to Joy make-along is essentially these socks. It is a skein of yarn that matches what I have, and it is, and I will give you the I'll give the winner enough to do the heels and toes so that they will match mine if you wanted to. You do not have to do that. And in fact, this morning I picked the winner of the January, I'm way out of order here, of the January Ode to Joy make along. And the winner is, let's see, Tammy 1962. So congratulations, Tammy 1962. Now I will say, I'm hoping Tammy watches and gets in touch with me, but Tammy's a very lucky lady. She won the drawing in September for the Ode to Joy make-along, but I never heard from her, and I redrew. If I don't hear from her before February 28th, I will redraw and do 2 giveaways in March, one for January and one for February. So Tammy, get in touch with me, email me, or message me on Instagram, or message me on Ravelry, because I need your address and I need to know you saw this. So Tammy 1962. She's very lucky, but I guess she doesn't watch my podcast. But she is participating. So Tammy, contact me. Girl, you want to make these socks. I'm so excited about my socks. And when the pattern comes out, you will get the pattern as well. So that's my second sock. That's why I stopped making my Mercury socks, because I was busy making my Jack socks. Oh, and here I have a picture of Jack. I tried, Carol's daughter did a little video reel of Jack running, and he was so beautiful. And but I wasn't able to kind of download that, so I just took a screenshot of it, and I'll put it right here. Here's Jack. And who wouldn't want to support Jack? So gorgeous, so fun. Okay, so that's now out of order. Now I hope I don't forget something. So so those are all my socks. So the other thing that I've been knitting on is, I got it in my mind, well, I love this Picket Twine color. So the first yarn that I bought, Picket Twine, I bought in Gladys Shawl, which is what she calls it, which is 70% merino, 30% silk. This is dyed in Ohio, by the way. And I fell in love with this, so that's what I bought first. And so I decided to make, and again, I apologize for my printouts. I've been beating up my stuff. It's called Scarf Pippin, P-I-P-P-I-N, and it is a big, long Mobius cowl. And it's got a little bit of a chevron pattern. It's really, really lovely. And I decided to make this. This is also a free pattern. And fun, fun, fun. Let me show you. After I have some champagne. So it's all scrunched up. If you've ever done a Mobius, you know how it goes. There we go. So a Mobius cowl has one twist in it, and it really has only one side and one edge. So my needle is both here and here, and it's all one needle, and every row goes all the way around both sides. And I cast on half of them, you know, it's like 364 stitches, or 300, I forget what it is. Oh, I cast on 306 stitches, so that's 612 stitches to do a whole row. And so it takes a long time, but isn't this beautiful? So the thing about this pattern in a Mobius is that there's no right side and wrong side. In fact, technically there's only one side of a Mobius cowl, but there's no back, you know, there's no wrong side. So everything looks the same. So if you don't like to purl, you probably won't like this pattern because half the stitches are knit and half the stitches are purled. But isn't that beautiful? It's very intuitive. It's easy to memorize, and I have really, really been enjoying knitting it, I can tell you. So when you start a Mobius cowl, this is where you start, right here. And as you go along, you're working your way out. So I only have about 8 rows more to go, and so that'll be 8 rows on this side and 8 rows on this side, because because it's all one. It's very complicated. If you take a strip of paper, a long strip of paper, and you do one turn in it, and then you tape it together, that's a Mobius. And then you can see, like, if you put your finger on one side and you go all the way around it, you'll see that there's really only one side, and there's really only one edge. So when I do, it's crazy. But anyway, I'm loving it. I'm really enjoying knitting it. So I had a lot of picket twine knitting in my January, I can tell you that, but I have enjoyed every moment of it. I really love this color. So I have another skein of this. I don't know if I'm going to need it or not, because here's what I have left of the silky yarn. But I have another skein if I need it. If I don't, well, maybe there's picket twine, merino silk in someone's future, or maybe I'll think of something else I want to make out of it, because, very, very in love with that colorway. So that's whip number 3 I have. So I have 2 socks that I worked on, and I worked on them a lot. And my picket twine Pippin, which I don't want to lose my pattern, my Pippin. Oh, and Pippin is by Michaela Schmidt Forster, and she goes under Woolness Designs. Free pattern. I'm all about the free patterns, I guess, this month. But I really have been enjoying knitting that too. But I put that aside to work on my jack socks, which was no, big hardship, because number 1, I'm using the same color, which I love, and number 2, the jack socks are very fun to knit. Okay, so my next whip is my 3rd Musselburgh hat. So this is the Musselburgh hat. I know, this is terrible. I'm using the same pattern as I did the other two, and I keep dropping them on the floor, and my dogs keep walking on it. But this is the Musselburgh hat by Ysolda Teague. And I'm doing the February challenge on Instagram, which is something that was started by Creative CC, and it has a prompt for each day, and you post a picture on Instagram. Now, I've been feeling like I haven't been on Instagram very much, and I should be more on Instagram. So I thought, and I saw Valorie was doing it, and I thought, you know what, let me just participate in this. You know, I'm not a big participator. I don't know why. So anyway, I decided to participate in the February challenge. I've been putting the wrong hashtag. I re-hashtagged my pictures today. But the prompt for yesterday was new Olympic cast on. So I cast on a new Musselburgh hat. My mother-in-law, Aura, I asked her if she would like one, and she said that she would. Isn't this beautiful yarn? So I thought, the Musselburgh hat, once you get, and I've just gotten past, so this is the crown. Once you get past the crown, it's just stockinette for a while, and I thought, I need a stockinette project to watch the Olympics, because I can knit stockinette without looking, and it seems like the Olympics, you have to pay attention to the TV for a lot of what you're doing, and I fast forward through all the commercials and all the talking and all that stuff, so I'm there for the sport part. So I thought I need something that's stockinette, and so I decided, probably do another Musselburgh, what the heck. And then my friend Juanita, she and I are doing an exchange, and she sent me a package. I haven't sent hers yet, which I'm really glad, because now that I see what she sent me, I want to make sure I send her a good package. She sent me some gorgeous, gorgeous hand spun. Everything she sent me was hand spun, that she spun herself. And this is what I'm making Aura's Musselburgh hat out of. Isn't this beautiful? I just am in love with this. I don't think it doesn't look, well, it's hard to tell, but it doesn't look like there's a lot of this blue in this skein, but there's mostly this peachy and orange and gorgeous warm fall winter colors. Anyway, I am enjoying knitting this. I cannot tell you. All she said was it's 100% wool, and then I can't read her tags. But it's 100% wool, and I think she says South American Punia? I don't know. 574 yards, but she dyed it and she spun it. So she dyed it herself too. Isn't that beautiful? And I have enjoyed this. So I cast this on yesterday. I'm all the way already past the crown and ready to knit stockinette while I watch the Olympics. I'm taping the Olympics. I'm hoping to get something, because I'm not a big fan of the opening ceremonies, to tell you the truth. So I'm looking forward to the events. I find I like the winter Olympic events more than I care for the summer. I'm not a big track and field person. I like gymnastics, and that's about it. I can't think of anything else that I really look forward to in the Summer Olympics, because like I said, I'm not a big track and field fan. Yeah, I can't think of anything else I really look forward to besides gymnastics, and I really do like the gymnastics. But in the winter sports, I like downhill skiing, I like the ice skating, of course, I like biathlon is one of my favorites. I like short track speed skating. I even like the long track speed skating. You know, so I'm looking forward to the Olympics, and I wanted something that I could knit while I'm watching it. And this is it. And Aura's birthday's on Valentine's Day, and I am quite sure I'll be done with my Musselburgh in time to give it to her for her birthday. So next month's podcast will have a finished object of Aura's Musselburgh with her, and I'll have a picture of her modeling hers. Oh, I have a picture of Dennis modeling his. I took a picture of him wearing it, 2 weeks ago when I showed it on the vlog. So I'll put that here because I forgot to do that when I showed his hat. You understand. Anyway, so this is my next whip. And I'm very excited about it. I'm going to have to tighten up around that crown. Maybe I'll just leave it. What the heck? She won't care. I don't know. Anyway, and I'm loving knitting with this beautiful handspun from Juanita. So I asked her what does she want in her package, yarn or fiber. She said both. I was really glad to hear she wanted fiber. Maybe she'll spin it and we can do another exchange. All right. My next whip is from today. From today. Because I've been saying, if you watch my vlog, I've been saying for quite a while, I want to get back to spinning, but I couldn't find my drop spindle. I had taken my drop spindle to Mississippi with me when I went to visit Christy back in May. And I said, oh, it's got to be in a bag somewhere, blah, blah, you know. Well, the problem with being a super messy person, which I am, I mean, I had to go close drawers and like, this looks clean compared to what the room really looks like. The problem with being really messy and having so much stuff that most of your stuff doesn't actually have a place to belong is that when your stuff has a place to belong, you sometimes don't realize it's where it's supposed to be. So I found my drop spindle in the cupboard where it belongs, which is right over here. But it was in a plastic bag and I didn't recognize it. This is the spindle I was looking for. And so this is, I had started this color on my trip to Mississippi. So I've been spinning today. This is the only part that's left. These are little, you know, 20-gram pieces of fiber, not even. But I'm just spinning, finishing spinning it up. And I think I'm going to chain ply this on the spindle when I'm done with this color. I think I'm just going to do each color. I have a couple more colors, and so I was trying, and the dogs pretty much left it alone. I mean, they both came up and like stuck their nose in it and stopped it spinning, but I told them no. And they kind of left it, you know, I certainly couldn't leave it out because it's wood, so that would be a stick. And, you know, the fluff, forget it. They would love it. So I have to put it away carefully every time I use it, but I'm excited. So I found it. So I've been spinning all day today. And Karen asked on the comment on the vlog to see me spinning. So I had Dennis record me spinning, and I had really pretty Spanish guitar music going on YouTube on my TV. I was just listening to Spanish guitar music while I was doing this, and I thought, oh, that'll be a beautiful background for this video that Dennis is taking. But as soon as he moved, he set the dogs off. Well, it was getting close to walk time, and when he moved, the dogs were triggered, and so they were barking the whole time. So I'm going to put that in my vlog tomorrow, but I'm going to have to cut out the sound. Well, I don't know. Do you guys want to see me spinning? I'll put it here too. What the heck? So here's me spinning, and I'll have to find some music. I have to find some music. I'll play my Flame and Fiber music while you watch that video. girls. They were so noisy the whole time they wouldn't stop. And so then we had to take them for a walk. Anyway, so last but not least of my whips is my temperature library. Now, my daughter Christy is Dr. Christy on Instagram, and she has a floss tube called Christy's Corner, which I will link below. And she is also a stitching pattern designer. And I was doing her embroidered bookshelf last year for not quite half the year, and then I kind of pooped out. We do our stitching together on Sunday nights. So here is this year she designed a drinks library. Now in that banner across the top, it's going to say, grab yo drink. So in honor of Chevis from Chevy Rel Stuff Podcast, who always has a cocktail or beer of some kind on her podcast, and me, who Christy knows loves a nice cocktail, she designed a drink shelf. She also has the bookshelf, and she just recently did a Space Invaders for a temperature pattern. So anyway, so here is my January. I have one more drink left because last Sunday was the 30th. And so I have one more day in January, and then I'm going to have to finish my February shelf and start February. But I had to do some fudging when I got to the end of January because this space, I ended up miscounting or not thinking or whatever, and I made it 10 stitches wider than it is in the pattern. Now it's supposed to have like a lamp, which I haven't put in yet, but yeah, so it's really wide. So when I got to the end of January, I had to reconfigure all the glasses because I ran out of space because I lost 10 stitches. So what I think I'm going to do here is I'm going to go rogue, and I am going to put a whole bunch, 3 or 4, maybe, bottles of booze in that big wide space, and whatever colors I decide or whatever. Maybe I'll do a Bombay Sapphire, so I'll do a blue one, and then I'll, do orange. Who knows what I'm going to do. But I'm going to put I think I'm going to put some liquor bottles there. And that will be very appropriate for a drinks shelf. So I've been having a lot of fun with this. All the glasses are outlined in gray. Chevis has been doing actual black outline around the outside of her glasses that I really like, and I do like to do like backstitch outline. I do like to do that, although I've only been stitching when I am Zooming with Christy. Oh, here's a picture of what this bookshelf is going to look like, or this is Christy's rendition of the bookshelf. And I forget what I was saying. I have no idea. Well, if I'm going to do anything with this, I'm going to have to start working on it when I'm not crafting with her, because doing the 7 glasses and in the colors takes about as much time as we usually do together. Although last week I was behind because I missed a week in January, so I was behind. So I started a little early, and the thing about this is you can do the glasses ahead of time because the glasses are all made out of the same color. So you can do the glasses ahead of time, and then you can just go back and put the color, because each color is representing a different temperature. You can go and, once like here, I did the glass for the 31st, but I did it on the 30th. So I have the glass all ready to go. I just, and so you can work quite far ahead on this one if you wanted to. So anyway, I was saying I like the idea of outlining because I like that back stitching and outlining. I've done it on other cross stitches, but since I'm only stitching with Christy, that takes everything I have to do for for my glasses takes about that much time. So I need to start stitching outside of my visit with Christy is kind of where I'm going with that. So there you go. So I want to remind you, speaking of crafting together and Zoom, our monthly Zoom craft together is next Saturday, the 12th. Starts at 1 o'clock Eastern Standard Time. And that is 10 o'clock Pacific Time. It's like 7 o'clock in the morning in New Zealand. On Sunday, it's late afternoon, but not too late in Europe. And I hope that you can join us. There is a thread on Ravelry with a link to the Zoom. Apparently there's like a password now, which is yarn. But it's all spelled out in the thread. And if you are for some reason not on Ravelry, if you email me at flameandfiber@mindspring.com, or maybe it's this way, flameandfiber@mindspring.com, and tell me that you need the link, I could send it to you. But it's next Saturday, starting 1 p.m. Eastern Time, and we would love to have you join us. It's so much fun. So much fun. I do love me some champagne. I've told you this story before, but I'm telling it again since I'm drinking champagne. Back in the 80s, before some of you were born, but not most of you, they had I read an article somewhere that was giving advice to young and upcoming business people. And, you know, if their boss offered them cocaine, this is the 80s, if their boss offered them cocaine and they didn't want it, they should just tell their boss that, oh, thank you, but that's not my drug of choice. The kind of advice you used to have to get in the 80s. What can I tell you? But anyway, when I read that article, I decided champagne is my drug of choice. So I think of champagne as my drug of choice. I bet there are a lot of wild advice columns out there from the decades. Who knows? So anyway, that is the... Oh, but then I have my goodies. Oh my gosh, wait till you see what Juanita sent me. So, besides being a very prolific crocheter and knitter and spinner, Juanita's also an artist. She's been working on her portrait drawings, so she draws regularly. She has been so encouraging with the watercolors that I was doing last year. I have hardly done any painting or anything since Christmas, since December. And she's been very, very encouraging. And so she sent me some paper that I've never used before. I've never used this brand. This is rough paper, and it's 120 pounds. And I'm really looking forward to trying it. So that was in there. And she's sweet. She has been unbelievably supportive. The other thing is, I've been saying on the vlog forever that I wanted to start spinning, and I was looking for my spindle or whatever. She sent me this tiny. Now I have very small hands. Tiny little spindle. Where's my green one? Here, let me show you for size. She sent me this tiny spindle. So there may be some lace spinning in my future. I couldn't believe it. This is like the most adorable thing ever. I've never used a spindle that small or light. She sent some scrunchies for the granddaughters that she crocheted. They'll love those. She sent 2 pink and 2 yellows. And she sent me hand spun. So you saw what I'm making Aura's hat with. Gorgeous, gorgeous, gorgeous. She also sent me This is 3-ply lace. This is, she does a lot with fleeces. She had a friend who has a friend who used to have a mill, so she has a lot of like yummy yarns or yummy fleeces and wools from them. So this is a 3-ply lace. This is a rustic wool. But look how beautifully that is spun. So gorgeous. So this is also lace. Mystery wool. Isn't that pretty? Some pink. Look at this gorgeous yarn. I think this might be a DK weight. I don't know. What does it say? It says Falkland, dyed by Dale. Dale is her husband. So I couldn't read that, and so she laughed at me. Falkland. But Dale, her husband Dale, dyed this. Now, I don't know if he dyed the wool or the yarn, but either way, gorgeous. The yarn does not look very marled, so my guess is that he dyed the wool, or dyed the yarn after she spun it. Isn't that beautiful? Oh, somebody's calling. Call from Spam Survey, US. Now, how's anybody going to pick that up? Yeah, let me take a spam survey. So here is some Shetland. Isn't this pretty? This doesn't have a tag. Beautiful. There are a couple of these that are just gorgeous. Gorge, gorge, gorge. See? These all go together really beautifully. Yeah, these are rustic. These are Shetland. Well, these don't have tags on them, but my guess is that they're Shetland. Alpaca browns. Oh, this one has alpaca. Oh, yeah, it's much softer. Alpaca. These probably are both Shetland, is my guess. Beautiful. Then she's going bright, bright, bright. No tag on this one. Those are my colors for my podcast. When Jake of Dogstar Knits made me a flame in fiber colorway, this was basically it. So there you go. And last but not least, isn't that beautiful? This does not have a tag on it. So she said, these are for me, or I can use them as prizes if I want to. And I'll probably use some of them as prizes, but I don't know. It's going to be hard to decide. Isn't that beautiful? Wasn't that a wonderful package? So we're exchanging packages. So I will be building a yarn and fiber package for her. And, you know, part of me is hoping that maybe she'll spin the fiber I send her and then send me the yarn. We'll trade again. It'll be like a spinning service. Here, I'll give you fiber and we'll trade. And you can give me the yarn you spun from the fiber I sent last time. This is like the most adorable thing. I don't know. It's possible that I could spin lace, you know, it's possible. So I showed you the picket twine yarn I bought last month. So that was also a goodie that I purchased. So I'm not that my no buy year turned out to be an actual no buy year, but I didn't, you know, it's been that yarn that picket twine yarn that I bought in January was the first yarn I bought in 2 years. I think, pretty sure. And you can see, well, you can see that my shelves are a little, they're fewer, you know, that's not all the yarn I have. But you know, that's the yarn I always had in there, and those used to be fuller. So I have been using my stash. And I actually really have been enjoying for the last 2 years shopping in my stash. So I highly recommend it if you're thinking about, now, that's my stash. And there are no sweaters quantities of yarn in those cubbies that you see. And I have at least 15 sweaters worth of sweater quantities of yarn. So this is by no means my entire stash. In fact, it's probably half. Maybe not even half. But my point is, those used to be full of those yarns, and now they're not, because I've been shopping in my stash. I have a lot of yarn. Don't feel sorry for me. I don't need to buy more yarn at all. But it is fun to buy yarn. And I really did want to support that project that Dye Mad Yarns was doing. Mad Dye Yarns? Dye Mad Yarns. Dye Mad Yarns. Dye Mad Yarns. So the last goodie that I bought was, Christy's been talking about journals, and she's been showing a journal that she's working on for her stitching and getting herself organized, and I'm not sure everything that she's doing, but made me think. I haven't been keeping up with my Ravelry projects, and I really had some idea I wanted to do something like this, which of course you don't need a journal. You can just have a book, and I have so many books. There's a shelf over there full of notebooks that need stuff in them. But this was designed as a knitting journal, and keep calm and cast on. So the first section is just notes for your favorite sources of things, addresses and that kind of stuff, and there's several pages to put stuff in. Then she's got yarn stash, and so you can put your stash in here. The only problem with her yarn stash is this is the last page of the yarn stash. So she has room for 42. Not sufficient. But she has lots and lots of pages, and this is almost the rest of the book is projects. And so she has all kinds of information you can put in the projects and notes, and it's gridded so you can do little diagrams and stuff, but it's the number of skeins, and with the needles, the notions, and this is for your notes of changes that you've made, and little sketches if that will help you. And she's got lots and lots and lots. So this is starting on page 20, and her last project is page 138. Each project takes 2 pages. So this is 138, 139. So there's room for lots and lots of projects. And then after that, she's got pages of just gridded paper where you can, jot down your ideas for designs and things like that. So I really like it. The very last page, this is like washing instructions and stuff and what all those symbols mean, which I really appreciate. This is needle conversions, metric US and UK. Here, there's like a ruler. And then this is a little diagram of how to measure yourself and where to measure that kind of thing. And presumably, then you could, there's no place to write your measurements in here, but there's no reason why you wouldn't. It's your book. And it has an elastic to keep it closed. So anyway, I bought myself this, and I think I'm going to use it. Obviously, I thought I was going to use it. I'm going to be sure that, and this is by Val Pierce. If I'm suddenly thinking maybe I won't use it, then it'll be a giveaway. But I bought it for myself. So my plan is to use it. So there you go. That's my goodies. Thank you, Juanita. Crazy, amazing box that she sent me. And I am inspired. I spun today, so I really appreciate that. And I have been working on getting myself back in the idea of painting and drawing. I got out of the habit. I need to get back into the habit. So there you go. So that's what I've been doing for the last month. My parents got COVID at the beginning of January. They're fine now, but that was very stressful. My mother was actually in the hospital for a couple days. Very stressful. And then, poor thing, then she got shingles. So she's now itchy with shingles, but it's getting better. But they're doing fine now. They're doing fine, and they're doing very well. And, we continue to, I take Aura to her cardiac rehab. She's doing okay. And, we're spending time with her and helping her move along. She turns 91 on Valentine's Day. So her brother and sister-in-law are coming up for her birthday. And so Dennis is cooking birthday dinner. We're going to have everybody here. Probably Kim will come. So there'll be 6 of us for dinner and to celebrate Aura's birthday. And I'll have a hat. I'll have a gift for her. I'm sure I'll have it done by then. They go fast. Cheers. So if you're interested in winning, and there'll be a few other things in there besides the yarn, 2 skeins of this Juniper Moon Findley Dappled, 50% merino, 50% silk, 800 yards in each skein. And you can see it's been in my stash a long time. The paper came open, but they're still skeined pretty much. I'm not doing anything with them. I'm sending them like this. So if you're interested in joining me for my 100th podcast celebration and you want a chance to win that, then put Crazypants in your comment. And I will get my daughter to help me figure out how to pick on YouTube from the comments that say Crazypants. Because it's Crazypants, 100 podcasts. Well, and I did number 661 vlog this morning, so my YouTube channel has a lot of videos. I wonder if I should have had a different channel for the vlogs. So the people who don't want to see me every day, I'm sure turned off any notification for when I do a podcast. But I do make sure that my thumbnail is very different. It's the intro to the podcast, and I announce it on Instagram. So I'm hoping people who are interested in the podcast and aren't interested in the vlog are still able to find the podcast. But it is what it is. We're all working through this whole thing the way we can. And making the vlogs helps me, and the community is helping me, and I think the community is all helping each other, and I'll keep vlogging. So I hope people who are only interested in the podcast will find this. But meanwhile, I guess I'm done. I didn't even finish my champagne yet. So this is Saturday. I don't think the podcast will go up today. I think it'll go up tomorrow. But anyway, I hope you are well. I hope you are healthy and taking good care of yourself. And I seriously hope that you have lots and lots of time to do the crafting that brings you joy. And I will see you at the beginning of next month. And please take good care of yourselves. Bye. The sunshine is wrong and the glass is fuller. That means I've come back. It's like editing Chevis, only I'm not really editing yet. I was just like copying my files and said, oh shoot, I forgot to explain the Ode to Joy make-along. The Ode to Joy make-along is a year-long make-along. And basically what we want to do is share the things that are bringing us joy. If you're making it and it's bringing you joy, it qualifies. Are you baking cookies? Are you sewing? Are you knitting? Are you spinning? Are you weaving? Are you stitching? Are you, I don't know, needle felting? If you're making it and it's making you happy and bringing you joy, then it qualifies. And we would love to see a picture of it. There's a thread on Ravelry in the Flame and Fiber podcast group. And so it's a year-long make-along. Whatever you're making, we would love to see it. There are monthly prizes, which is, I announced the winner of the January prize. I don't know what the February prize is yet. It might be one of Juanita's skeins of yarn, if I can figure out which one I want to give up. That's going to be a hard one. But there will be a prize, and I will announce it on the March podcast. But there are monthly prizes, and then there's a grand prize at the end of the year. This is our second year of doing the Ode to Joy, and people are making beautiful things. There's a wonderful thread on Ravelry. Please join us. I would love to see what you're doing and have you join the community. So that's the Ode to Joy make-along. And I thought, oh, I forgot to explain what it is. It's a year-long sharing of the things that you're making that are bringing you joy, so that we can all enjoy them too. And would love to have you join us. So there you go. Cheers. Crazypants.